That son's an absolute savage.
I know.
Welcome back, as always, to another video. I have been to Austria for almost a week. I filmed zero content for YouTube. Why? Because, do you know what? I just wanted to go and enjoy it. Like, I just wanted to go and embrace it. And I think the only time I would have got content for YouTube would have been if I had a videographer. And because I didn't, I just didn't want to go through the faff of getting the tripod out, filming for YouTube, trying to get bits for Insta, trying to get bits for YouTube, having to like set up all over the place. I could have done a bit of raw stuff, but at the end of the day, it just never felt right. And I wanted to go out. I had 5 sessions. I was able to train everything back to back, and I just wanted to really get after it, to be honest. And that is exactly what happened. So we've been there almost a week back now. Today is going to be my first session back in Ultraflex. I actually took yesterday off because I was battered. Like, I was absolutely battered. 5 really demanding sessions, really heavy sessions, back to back, going from shoulders as soon as I landed. I then had arms, I then had back and deadlifts. The day after I had chest, which just turned into push, so that was chest and shoulders. And Monday we finished off with legs, which had hacks, 45-degree leg press, which was very harsh, and also a barbell RDL one day pretty much after deadlift. So as you can imagine, pretty demanding. So Sensible Kev took yesterday off. We're in for back today. It's going to be a big one regardless, but starting off the day with the good old drugs. Formidable, my natural testosterone booster from Unrivaled Nutrition. We've got Brain Food from HR Labs. Joint Support Max from Strom. We've got Multimax from Strom. This is something that can genuinely change your traveling, right? Whenever you travel, if you're a bodybuilder, make it as convenient as possible. Make it as easy as possible, right? Stop taking 20 tubs of stuff. Stop taking a big tub of protein. Just put it in like a sandwich bag or a tiny tub, or find out how much you're actually going to need for your plan and just literally take that amount. It makes so much more sense. So I usually take them out of all of their tubs, put them into a little tub like this, and then literally that can go anywhere. That is not the same size as taking like 10 tubs with me. So in here we've also got vitamin D3 from HR Labs, and we also have a relatively new product for the recovery side of things, for the sleep purpose side of things as well, which is Rest Up from HR Labs as well. So anything from HR Labs as always, guys, Kiffy15. I'm also going to run you guys through my blood test results that did come in. They actually came back when I was in Austria. Meal number 1's about to go down. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, sit back, relax, drop the video a like, and let's get on with meal number 1. Guys, I've had way too many questions lately of people not knowing how to make these protein pancakes yet. There is a video on my channel, right? But just quickly, 450ml of water, so a little bit of water to begin. Then you're going to go in with your protein, which you need enough for 50 grams of protein. Then you go in with the oats. We're going to go 160. Then the rest of the water. And then we give it a quick wee shake. Pancake makers on. B&M Special, $19.99. Pancake mix that consists of nothing but oats, protein, and water. And don't forget to give that a good scrape because there's at least 5 more pancakes in there. Some of the good stuff, 0-calorie syrup. This bad boy just makes these 10 times better. So we'll go on with a little bit of that. As easy as that. And meal number 1 is a go. Meal number 1 done. Now let's find out about these blood results. One of the most, I think anyway, highly anticipated things that has actually just happened. Obviously I got my bloods done. You guys are going to get an insight into seeing exactly what has came back. I'm going to put everything on the screen for you guys of what I am actually looking at right now, just to make sure that you guys can get that insight into exactly what I'm going over and what they've came back off of. Now, one of the biggest things that I want you guys to be able to bear in mind as well, with regards to why some of these levels are actually pretty low, is I have just came off the back of an almost 9-month competition prep, in which my body had to sacrifice a lot. My immune system would have obviously taken a massive hit. My central nerve system, as you guys know already from training, hard training can lead to levels being different. And coming off the back of something so demanding, I didn't just want to get my bloods done immediately off the back of that, because I knew they would have came back pretty compromised. Now, with that being said, as you will see throughout some of these, I'm still not where I need to be. There's some levels that are still pretty low. However, as we can see, things are gradually creeping back up. Now, I would actually like to get my bloods done again in around that kind of maybe 6 to 8 week marker, just to be able to see how things are, because nothing, which is very good, nothing's came back super concerning, but I would just like to be able to make sure that we're back to where I would feel a little bit more comfortable with them being at a specific level. Now, going through, obviously, sheet number 1, so part 1 to my bloods that came back, we can see that my red cell and white blood cells are actually on the low side of things. Now, with that being said, from a white blood cell perspective, that's no doubtably coming from the competition prep. So ultimately, with it being so demanding, my immune system being compromised, my immune system being hit very hard, the fatigue on my body from how long that demanding competition prep was. Like, there was no ins and outs of prep, guys. As you know, from the beginning of March all the way through until ultimately November, that was like proper hard, no coming off, no off plans, a tiny amount of high days placed in there. So realistically speaking, my body was never really getting an opportunity to be not more fatigued. So with that being said, coming off the back of that no doubtably is where that's came from. Now, it's not super concerning, but it is definitely something that will have probably came off the back of that. As for my red cells, again, coming off the back of a prep where I was eating no meat whatsoever, no red meat I should say anyway, and coming off the back of where I'm at throughout nutrition, something that I could potentially do better there is just maybe put a little bit more focus on the micronutrient side of things. So throughout things like greens that little bit more, and actually give my body something that it will get a lot of value from that side. So that is where I can rebuild that up that little bit more as we head on into the remainder of that. So throughout obviously things like my kidney function, my ALT, again, that can definitely come from fatigue, that can come from obviously demanding my body from training, so that is a total normal one. From that side in general, a big one is most definitely going to be coming off of fatigue just in general. So as you'll be able to see here, a lot of these are still relatively in range, and a lot of these levels are not like at any sort of concerning part, but obviously I do need to take on board that I am still going to have to make sure that I'm prioritising this recovery phase, this last part of coming out of prep as well as possible, because since I've stepped off of stage, something that I've most definitely tried to just make sure is I focused a lot more on my health and focused a lot more on my actual recovery side of things that I've never done before. One, obviously I've never had these done before, and when I got the opportunity to be able to obviously get them done, I definitely jumped at it because I wanted to just make sure that everything was where we've wanted it to be. Because coming off the back of prep this year, I've definitely noticed a massive difference in things being a lot slower and my body not feeling what it felt like earlier on post-show in 2022. Now, that could almost be down to the part of, yes, I dieted for almost the same amount of time, but maybe I didn't push it as hard. We obviously done a lot less shows, we done a lot less peaks, we done a lot less depletions. So all of that emphasis on my body, that pressure on my body was like hell. Like, it was a lot. So with these coming back the way that they have, especially around that kind of 6-week marker post-show, because that is when I got them done, it's good to be able to see things are coming back up. And I definitely do think that as I keep eating more, as I come out of that post-show phase more than anything, these will sort themselves out, in which when I get them done again in around 8 weeks time and you guys get to see, I can almost imagine that my levels are going to be totally different. As we can see, even my testosterone levels, so obviously sitting on that kind of average at 12.6, is still on a relatively lower side of things, but is pretty normal for where I need to be right now. I've obviously not been taken Formidable, so I have been off that, and that is something that I have just restarted as well. So my natural testosterone booster, as you would have seen me take this morning, that is something that's only going to provide benefits towards my actual testosterone going back to where it needs to be. Aside of that as well, throughout things like free testosterone, we know we can rebuild that back up many different ways throughout things like recovery, throughout things like food. So again, that's going to be benefited throughout that side of things. And then off of the back of that as well, B12 came back a little bit on the high side of things. The only thing I do need to do and look through now really is my supplements that I'm taking in, because there could be a potential rise in B12 that I'm taking in that I might actually not need. And once I find that, then I'm just going to simply start reducing that ever so slightly. Now, I've not seen any detrimental effects. I've not seen any sort of negative effects happen from taking in the amount of B12 that I am, and obviously where my levels are currently sitting at. However, it would just be interesting to be able to taper that down ever so slightly and see exactly if I notice any differences from that. But overall, I am actually very happy with how they did come back. Obviously, at the end of the day, there's a couple of levels that are still on the low side of things that do need to have specific precautions in order to be able to get them back to where they need to be. However, it's not came back crazy levels all over the place. It's not came back with loads of concerns. If anything, like, there was just literally a couple of things that came back and I got that advice on what to be able to work around. But I've just went over that with you, and at the end of the day, it's not something that we have to be super worried about. So all is good. However, like I say, as we've creeped into another 2 weeks since I've had these done, my body is definitely starting to come back to a good bit of normality. It's starting to feel a good bit better. It's definitely fuller, definitely a lot warmer now. I'm feeling way more supported in the gym. I'm feeling stronger in the gym already, which is really nice. I mean, going back to my last initial couple of weeks into the last initial peak weeks of prep, my body was like glass. Like, I genuinely felt as if when I was going to go into the gym, I was almost going to snap in half. Like, I was struggling with a 4-plate deadlift, and I mean, I was totally out of control of how much I was struggling, in which I'm now back up pulling 6.5, 7 plates with ease, and I'm feeling good about it, which is absolutely everything. From a hormonal perspective, I can definitely feel that everything's starting to rise back up ever so slightly. Like I say, it's been a lot longer this time than normal. We're almost 9 weeks post-show, so it's definitely been longer, in which I was a little bit more concerned over anything else. But after getting the clarification, after getting my bloods done, I'm super happy to be able to see that things are very much on the rise. And like I say, I will get them done again, and we'll see exactly where they do fall from there. We're going to move on with the rest of the day. I'm going to take in another meal now, and then before we know it, it'll be time to go and hit some back, which I'm super fucking excited for, because I took yesterday off, and I've never took a day off and felt so, like, just wanted to go to the gym so much. Like, I genuinely wanted to train so much yesterday, but I knew that it was going to benefit me taking that day off. So now, as you can imagine, I'm super desperate to be able to get back into the gym. And of course, we've not done it in a while. I actually had to replace the mics because we somehow unfortunately lost the mics. So I've waited to get them back in. We're going to bring tonight's session to YouTube. I'm going to film 2 videos today. So I'm going to film the full session, in which I'm going to break down the full back workout. You guys can get a full informative video of me in the gym. To be honest, it's just going to be me in the gym going absolutely full send, because we're going to go to fucking war tonight. Of course, it'll be informative, but full day of this as well. Bloods, guys, you're just getting fucking spoiled. And if that's not a reason to literally drop this video a like, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and subscribe to the channel. I mean, we're way over that 12,000 marker now, but we're still not at 300 million, I think, that Mr. Beast's at. But we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. No more rambling on, it's time for some turkey rashers. Meal number 2. Sarah has came through with an absolute blinder. She only went and got me this tray for Christmas because, 1, she feels like I make too much of a mess. 2, she says I ruin all of her tea towels by getting tomato sauce or egg or just anything like that on them. And 3, obviously, because we just don't have the space for a kitchen table. And I also don't feel as if we're here enough to warrant me going out and buying a small kitchen table to sit at. So obviously we always sit on the couch. But we've got 150 grams of egg whites, we've got 3 whole eggs, we've got 6 turkey rashers, and we've got 2 big boy Warburton's bagels. rashers, bagels, eggs, went in super easy. This, now bearing in mind we're 9 weeks post show now, and these, as you'll probably remember, was the very first thing that went in as I stepped off a stage in Germany. A 38 grams protein, unfortunately, from this company right here, but we'll just kind of forget about that because honestly I would not buy a single thing apart from these cookies from their brand. However, white chocolate, almond, performance-based cookies, in which obviously, guys, it's a cookie at the end of the day. It's not going to just all of a sudden boost your performance up through the roof. But if you're, for example, a lifestyle client and you're maybe struggling to get your protein in, this is almost 40 grams of protein, which I would say you can put this towards your protein intake for the day, or maybe at least 20 grams of it anyway, 25 grams at a push. However, guys, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're on prep, please don't be using 38 grams of this towards your 200 grams of protein for the day because it's just not going to provide any value whatsoever. However, aside from that, because we're going to get away from all the negativity around the fact that it's a protein cookie, and we're going to have one of these as a little snack. Fucking unbelievable. Just ruined that, haven't I?
We both just glad I'd done that so much better.
I know.
The second one looked good.
Post back, big boy back. 2 of your finest Wagyu beef burgers, Tesco finest, no messing about when it comes to the Wagyu beef burgers. We actually went into Tesco tonight and I did not plan on having these as post-workout. However, I realised that it's been forever since I've had some... They're technically not homemade burgers just because they were already prepped and prepared. However, I went in the hunt for burgers. These aren't the ones that I usually get. However, I spotted them and so I was like, just treat yourself. So we've went in with these 2 big boy bagels, 2 burgers, post-workout, very successful back session tonight. You guys are going to see the full back workout in depth in the next video. That is going to be the next video. We're back on the roll with content because I think there's just been a little bit of a really busy period and it's been a case of just not get content as maybe consistent as what we have done because we've not really had that much time in order to be able to do that, edit it, etc. And I don't just want to get a videographer in and bring this content that's not real or me or the realistic side of things or what I get up to, where I'm at, etc. I just don't want to be like that. So that is why we've potentially we've still had the weekly uploads, however, maybe just not as frequent as what I would like and as consistent as what I like. But regardless of that, really good back session. You guys got an insight into the bloods, you've seen what has happened today, and that is going to be a sign out for this video. So as always guys, I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do not forget to drop the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'll catch up with you all in the next video.
You're a man. That's rotten. That's so rotten.